We are live. So I was going YouTube, back with my man Sam, JVS, fellow YouTuber, and we are about to go in for our 4th edition of JA Movie News. Where we're talking about newest, freshest shit, hot off the stove in terms of movie news. And let's get it here.
Heck yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Say, let me sign in twice really quick.
All right, y'all. I'm in the chat. If y'all want to talk, by the way, any questions, just hit us up.
All right. And all right, let's get cracking. So, our first topic of the night is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Or, I should say, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah.
And just going to read off a little bit of something here, but this will be the first film to be shot in 8K resolution. All right. Which, for those of you who are ignorant of this, your Blu-rays, they only go as high as 1080p, so you can do the math there. But basically, I'm just going to read off some quotes here from the production team behind this brand new camera. But they're saying that I cannot even begin to express how proud I am that Marvel and everyone involved in the production has decided to be the first to shoot on our Weapon 8K. Let's see here. We're all hugely excited to be shooting the next Guardians of the Galaxy on the new Weapon 8K. This is my 3rd collaboration with Red, having previously shot with the Red Epic on Prometheus and the Epic Dragon on Tarzan.
Wow.
The large sensor size and super high resolution offered by the new Weapon 8K, combined with its lightweight and compact size, opened up a whole range of new creative possibilities. It is the little big camera, perfectly counterintuitive and perfect for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think that this is that's just craziness. I mean, it's not like anyone's going to be watching it, in 8K for likely the next 10 years. But hey, I mean, it's cool though. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on it?
So I'm sitting here. I went and I was listening to the name of it, Weapon 8K. That is the boss name, first off. But when I was looking at the specs for it, I read one of the quotes was like, per steel frame, it can have up to 100 frames per second with steel frame. And it's got an actual solid-state drive inside of it. So it's not even a conventional hard drive. It's a solid-state drive in it. And I'm looking at the size of this thing. It looks so, sexy. It legitimately looks amazing. And it's short. But, I mean, for them to be able to do a lot of those, aerodynamic stuff that I'm thinking that, they're going to try to do with the Guardians of the Galaxy on a scope level, I mean, they got to shoot for the future. You know what I'm saying? This is the next true epic. I mean, if they pull their cards right and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 comes out really well, people are going to remember it just as much as they remember Star Wars. So I'm excited for them to go on that route. I'm curious to see how the frames per second are going to be when it comes to the 6K content when it actually comes out, though, because I think it says it's 8K, right?
Yeah.
But is it gonna diminish in quality to 6K, 60 frames per second? That's what I'm really curious to see how it actually legitimately is gonna look.
Sure.
I'm hoping they're gonna do a demo for it.
A quick disclaimer for those of you who are confused by when we're talking about frame rate, to put it as simply as I can. I mean, most television movies that you watch, both on TV or in cinema, they're usually, I don't know, probably between 24 and 30, 29 frames per second. Things that we might be geeking out here if we bring up 48 or 60 frames per second. The reason why we're freaking out about that is because that means that A, that's not something you see in cinema, and B, it just means more visual information. In fact, my videos on my channel right now, they're all in 60 frames per second. So that's why they seem all lifelike and weird compared to this video. But anyway, I just wanted to throw it out there.
So, I mean, the camera is more than capable of going at 60 frames per second at the resolution that it can go at. I'm really curious to see how this thing is gonna look, you know.
Dude, first off, watching Guardians of the Galaxy in let's just say if we can watch in 60 frames per second, 8K resolution. I don't even know what that means. You know what I mean? Like I don't even. There's this thing that when you see something in the higher quality, I can't remember who I heard this from, but it's like the retina display effect. You know what I'm saying? It's like once you see it, you can't go back. I hope I don't see 8K anytime soon, because once you see it, you can't just be like, "Oh, well, that was cool. Thanks for showing me." Like it's like, no, I want that.
Yeah.
Now,
so I mean, oh snap! So this is what I just read. So this is what it's saying as far as the recording frame rates. It's saying that 1 by 100 frames per second at 6K, but then the lowest for just 2K, that's 1 by 300 frames per second. For 4K, 1 by 150 frames per second. That is nuts.
So if someone was watching this and like they're just like 8K, meh, like what would you say to them why that's such a big deal?
I mean, for me, if you go to Best Buy, take an example, go to Best Buy, go to one of their Samsung or Sony Bravia 4K films. When you look at it and you got the refresh rate, they can go and have it optimized at 120 hertz, but then they could go and up to about 480 hertz. Just tell them that's what you want. When you start looking at it from a refresh standpoint, like Jor-Els said, it's like you're looking at it like it's in real time. And once your eyes get adjusted to it and you go back home, you're like, I need to get that TV. Like that's, and when you see something like that, like think of what I just described to you. It's gonna take it even farther. Like you're literally gonna have people. They're gonna have to make sure they are on point with people's makeup because you're gonna be able to see the pimples, the indiscrepancies in their face, the clothing, like every little hair on people's heads are gonna be like visible. So it's a great time to geek out, man.
I'm actually right now. I'm trying to see if I can pull up a chart just to emphasize just how batshit crazy 8K would be, bruh. It don't even. My God, it truly don't make no damn sense. I mean, at that point, seeing like pores and shit, like and able to see like, I mean, that just stupid. It's stupid quality. Like
But
it's almost unnecessary, bruh.
real talk though, this is what I want, and I hope it happens in my lifetime.
Bruh, don't nothing need to look that good.
So I'm thinking to myself, I want to get to a point, right, where you got a TV that is so cool on the refresh rate, but my eyes are able to literally watch the 3D without any glasses. Like literally it's coming off from a resolution standpoint, from a frame rate standpoint, without the need of 3D glasses. That is what I hope it happens in my lifetime. Because that would be balling. Like, who in the chat, literally, if you had a TV that didn't need glasses for 3D content, wouldn't love that? Oh my gosh.
Well, apparently, James Cameron, he's already experienced this sort of technology without even seeing it in 8K, bro. You know, and you know, like James Cameron, Ridley Scott, they're very similar when they swag out. They think of it like it's nothing. And, you know, James was just like, oh yeah, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, bruh, what you mean? You mean tell me you watch 3D with no glasses and it's pretty good? Like, get out of my face. You know what I'm saying? But I want to try to bring up this picture right quick with the screen share before we move on to the next topic, just to emphasize just how crazy 8K is. Let me see if I can bring this up. Sam, let me know if you're seeing this.
Yeah, I see. Oh, snap. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Is it full screen right now?
It was just a second ago, and then it went back to you.
Is it? It went back to me.
Yeah, I see you now. It was working just a second ago.
All right. Let me try it again. That should not.
All right, I see it now.
All right. Well, I'm trying to.
Oh, wow. So it went back to you now.
What? Well.
Yeah, if you can bring it up, I can describe what it's showing.
All right. I was just trying to make it bigger. Let me try it one more time.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, I guess I won't be able to go full screen.
Nah. It went back to you.
All right. All right. Well, for some reason, it won't go full screen the way I want it to. But to emphasize the point, in the upper left-hand corner, you see the yellow. That's 720p.
Yep.
Okay. And then let me see here. The blue right after that is 1080p. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now at the very bottom is 9K. Like that's how big the image difference is. Sadly, I can't. For some reason, make this go full screen, which I don't know why. Or maybe it's full screen right now. I have no idea. But either way, just trying to let you know. Crazy.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there looking at the little green part. That was the 4K, and I was like, dang.
But anyway, moving on. So the next topic is going to be. What was that? Fuck. The next topic is going to be film versus digital. Now, this is a conversation I've been wanting to have for some time. Ironically, the Guardians of the Galaxy combo sort of ties into this, but film versus digital. To kind of give you a better viewpoint on this, let's compare. We're going to compare the Hateful Eight with the Revenant by Alejandro, technically speaking, because this was shot on film, whereas the Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, that was shot completely digitally.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with this, we're just trying to have a discussion like which one's better, film or digital, all right? Now, with film, it's like a reel and shit. With the Hateful Eight, it was shot on what's called 70 millimeter, which, let me see here. It basically means that the camera lenses capture images on 70 millimeter film in an aspect ratio that's like 275 to 1. Basically, almost all films you see today are shot in ratios that are either 185 to 1 or 239 to 1. So to put it simply, the way that the Hateful Eight was shot, it just means that it was shot in a much more wider and more detailed image,
Mm-hmm.
and then in a very old format, an ancient format called film. And the last films that were shot in this format was like fucking Ben-Hur and shit, or It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. So it's been a while since a film has been shot like this one has. So it's very, very old-fashioned, film is, and digital is very new. I don't know if you want to go into some of the technical aspects of the Revenant really quick.
Yeah, I can try to do that. And I mean, I'm going to kind of be a little biased, to be quite honest with you, because I know that Batman vs. Superman is actually shot in like 65, but then like I love the look of the Hateful Eight in 70 millimeter. Like when I heard about that, I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
and to clarify, film is this old-fashioned way of shooting movies.
Yep.
And it's rarely used now, film. Mostly all the movies you see are shot digitally because it's just fucking easier. All right.
Yeah.
And the question we're trying to conversate about is a big debate among filmmakers. Which one's better, film versus digital? But yeah, did you want to go into how the cameras for the Revenant?
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of just read off the actual listing of the actual camera. So it's Alexia 65. The camera marks one of the first transition to digital cinematography. I guess some of the previous ones was like the D20 and the D21. But as far as the sensor ratio, it can shoot up to 2,880 by 2160, which is amazing resolution. And it also supports like uncompressed video. So like even if it's like from a large scope, it can actually tolerate the uncompressed version of it and still be pretty well versatile. But I mean, the thing is now, like, there's so many different films that are going to be shot with this. I'll read this article real quick. Between the movies, The Revenant, which if you watch that movie, like, when you get to watch it, you can sit there and imagine, like, looking at Hateful Eight, looking at Revenant, like, which actually, that's why we have such a hard time really trying to figure out what is the next step. Like, should we go back to what we know, or is digital still good? But The Revenant, I think actually Birdman, the Mission Impossible Rogue Nation was actually shot in it. Ben Affleck's new movie, Live by Night, is going to be shot in it.
Yeah.
Especially Rogue One, a new Star Wars story is actually going to be shot in it. And so it seems as though most people or most directors or most cinematographers, they're gravitating towards going with that. Now, when I looked at The Revenant personally, I had never seen anything like that.
Right. And one thing I would say really quick, Revenant was shot in 6K. I know the third season of House of Cards was shot in 6K. Gone Girl by David Fincher was also shot in 6K. And one thing I want to read off really quick, The Revenant, the cinematographer, he was saying that the reason why they shot in digital is as follows. They're saying that when they were dealing with very low levels of light, that the film was collapsing then, but these digital cameras were able to show stuff that I'd never seen before, his words.
Yeah.
I could never shoot at these times of day, practically at night, when he was shooting with film. He was just basically saying that shooting with digital was not only easier, but it created an image that for him was much more immersive, more visceral, more powerful, more expressive.
Yeah.
And allows to shoot more time during the darkest days of winter.
Yeah, so it sounds as though like it's opened up the different realms of possibilities from a cinematic standpoint. From a scope level, like if you're wanting to be at nighttime, or if you're gonna be like in the rain sequence or something where it seems a lot more darker in image content. Like even if you think about it, like with us, like when we actually do our films, like our camera has the ability of seeing things that a normal post camera wouldn't be able to actually do, just from the way that actually is built. So I think somebody has said in the comment that they should keep both, that they shouldn't retire 70 millimeter because there are certain films that should be shot a certain kind of way, and like it's just too classic to just get rid of from that standpoint. But I think that they're definitely going to push the envelope in better and further ways with the 65 or whatever precedes the 65 Alexia.
Well, I mean, here's what the conversation was sort of built into. I mean, I made the point before, but like, I think that both mediums should exist for sure. I mean, I don't think that film should just die. I think that'd be kind of sad. But at the same time, it's which one's better, film or digital? And one thing I do want to say before we start talking about which one we personally think is better, if at all, is that there's a movie called The Master, made by I think it's Paul Thomas Anderson, if I'm not mistaken, the director. But he shot this movie called The Master with Phil Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix in 65 millimeter, and some of the film was shot with 35. But basically, with film, especially like say with the way that this one was shot, if you were to let me see here, the full image detail of a 65 millimeter negative estimates that that would equate to 8K resolution.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Yeah. The existing Blu-ray format may not have sufficient resolution to convey the full image detail of a 65 millimeter negative. There's one DP who estimates that an 8K resolution would be required.
Wow.
And also a cool note about the master is that the post-production work was completed photochemically without the use of a digital intermediate, which is what I will do in the future, by the way. But yeah, just to let you know, even though this is an old format film, the thing about it is that it's just stunning, man. Like the density, the detail, and the sharpness, it almost has like a presence. Like the colors are just so much more intense, or they can be at least more intense and visceral to people. But yes, just because it's old doesn't mean that the image detail is down here.
Yeah.
But but yeah, what do you think? Film or digital? Which one's better?
All right, I'm gonna ask you this question: was Mad Max shot in 70 millimeter?
I have no idea.
Because I mean, like,
I'm gonna make a bold prediction that it wasn't. I'm checking right now.
yeah, I'm trying to look it up too because I've literally been trying to process that all this year.
Because I'm thinking it wasn't.
Cause I could imagine George Miller doing it, but I don't know if he did.
It looks like I think I was right. It looks like it was shot with the Ari Alexa.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which is a digital camera.
Yeah.
Well, a few different digital cameras, but still.
I'm trying to say, man, I can't say that 70 millimeter is better because I believe in optimizing proficiency. Like, what is the next biggest thing? How do we reinvent, you know? But it's like, it also comes down to, like, the post. Like, what is we actually filming? You know what I'm saying? Like, where is a shot that has not been filmed like this in a certain kind of way with the 70 millimeter camera? I think that I'd be more, initially, I was more inclined to say 70 millimeter, just literally, just from the scope level, looks better. But, like, from everything that I've witnessed, specifically this year, I'm leaning more towards digital now, unfortunately. Like, I don't know if I can necessarily say it is completely better definitively, but I think that to further, like, cinema in general, I think it's required. It's really needed. And so that, I think in that essence, it might be a little bit better, capability-wise.
Digital?
Yeah.
I think that I think you might be right. I mean, when Quentin and Nolan, when they're saying that film is still the best at the current time, well, you're trying to tell me that even just with that 65 millimeter thing I was talking about, the full image quality is probably like 8K. Fair enough, but we've already begun to tap into digital 8K, son. So I think digital is inevitably going to be better.
Yeah.
And I think the filmmakers are very stuck on just the look of film, as opposed to it being, it's just always going to be better. I think that's what they're stuck on, to me personally, anyways.
Yeah.
I think it's almost more of a nostalgic issue than a technical issue, because it's like, bro, like, give digital some years, and we're not talking about many years. Yeah, the resolution is just going to swell.
Absolutely.
And so I think they're in love with the look more so. I think anyway, which is understandable because it's something that we've been used to for like 100 some odd years or whatever, which makes sense. And like watching The Master or watching The Hateful Eight, it's just like whoa when you're watching the film. Just the colors are just they do stand out, and they are striking. When you watch Interstellar, like it does stand out for sure. It's like whoa, this is different.
Oh,
But
snap. It is gonna be filmed. So the Batman versus Superman is gonna be filmed, bro. That's one of the last one. They're using a Panavision System 65 millimeter, but it is film. It's not digital. Wow.
I don't know. I think that both mediums should stay. I think that the look of film it's just I think it's more preferred, but I do think that digital is just better, man. I mean, when I watched Gone Girl, when I saw the first two trailers of Gone Girl, it literally made me go out and buy a 4K camera for my first film. I'm being dead serious. Like as soon as I saw them trailers, I was like, yo, I can't shoot my movie in 1080p. I don't care if it's not 496 or 4096, blah blah blah, or 2160, whatever the hell it is. Like, who cares? Like, I need to shoot it in 4K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's probably my answer. That digital is it's inevitably gonna be better. And you know what? I think digital is gonna get to a point where it's gonna be able to replicate the look of film on point in the future.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that eventually getting to that point.
I mean, when you watch The Revenant, the clarity is stupid, son. Without the grain and all that, it's like looking through a fucking window.
Yeah, like I haven't seen anything quite like that actually.
But I know for people who aren't too into the technical aspects of all this, are probably so confused. But I'm thinking that digital is going to win at the end of the day, but we need both. Because I would like to shoot some future projects in film in the way that The Master was shot, for sure.
Yeah.
And you think that digital is better?
I think that like I keep saying, like I think the 70 millimeter needs to stay. Like I think the film needs to stay. It always should stay. But I think that from the standpoint of just the future and what we need to be able to not just recreate something but reinvent something in a sense, I think that digital is a lot better in getting us to that point. I guess that's where it all boils down to. What can get us there, Oh,
and one thing I do want to say is that I know this is probably going to hurt for you film purists, but look, most people don't give a fuck. They don't get, like, I know it's hard for Tarantino and them to hear that, but, like, look, man, most people really don't give a fuck. As long as it looks good, they're just like, oh, you got 4K? Okay, let me switch to that. Like, they, like, they don't care.
Yeah.
It sucks, but I'm telling you, it's the truth. Truth hurts sometimes. But let's switch to Doctor Strange for a little bit though before we close out. I know some new information popped up about Doctor Strange. Apparently, Kevin Feige was talking about that Doctor Strange might go to the dark dimension or something like that.
Yep. Like it's I'll read the article real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Right now. I mean, what are your expectations before I get to it, what are your expectations for Doctor Strange? Because it's going to be also shot with the Alexia 65 as well.
Yeah. While you're bringing up some information on that, I think that, well, I'm sure it's going to look fantastic. I could have told you a long time ago it was probably going to be a digitally shot, but I think expect the unexpected with Doctor Strange. Like, because I'm not sure what angle they're sort of taking this movie. I don't know if it's going to be like a light, joyous sort of film, kind of like Guardians, or if it's going to be kind of dark, maybe a little bit grim,
Yeah.
Maybe it might be like Constantine, the movie, if Constantine the movie didn't suck, I'm really curious about it. I think Benedict Cumberbatch looks literally perfect as Doctor Strange. I mean, I'm curious what his voice is gonna sound like now, but
Yeah. So this is what it reads.
mm,
Villainous role in Doctor Strange may be a mystery no more now that Marvel Studios' present production, Kevin Feige confirmed at least one of the colorful alternate dimensions that we will get to see in the forthcoming movie, which is going to be the Dark Dimension. Let's see. After Benedict on the left, executive producer Steven Brussy, I looked at each other and we said, I think Doctor Strange is just here. I guess they're talking about the way he kind of looks. But they're talking about basically that he's going to be able to get into the dark dimension. We see glimpses of this so-called dark dimension, he said. But if we're going to open up Doctor Strange comic drawn by Stephen Ditko, you would have to see the dark dimension. In fact, a very colorful and extremely psychedelic way. Those are the things that we're not shying away from. So I've got a couple pictures that I can kind of show you what I guess
yeah, sure.
into that. Let me get back to.
And for the record, the cast is just looking outrageous. I mean, Mads Mikkelsen, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Rachel McAdams. She knows she fine. Tilda Swinton. Some truly great actors and actresses.
So this is, I guess, one of the first shots of like the dark dimension in and of itself. This looks crazy because I don't know. Well, I don't want to spoil anything for those that haven't seen Ant-Man, but Ant-Man, when they had Scott Lang actually get shrunken down, like for some reason, this reminds me of that plane. And like even when Michael Douglas's character was talking about you're gonna go to a plane of existence where everything is finite, like there is no tomorrow, there is no place and time. And I was thinking to myself, what if the Wasp is stuck there, like Hank Pym's wife is stuck in what's like this dimension, and it needs Doctor Strange to get her out. And I think that would be a really good way of going into that. Another picture that I saw, and I guess I'll try to share that one as well.
Okay.
Is his lair. Let me see if I can let y'all see that. So the lair of Doctor Strange, this looks pretty tight. I don't know if y'all, can you see it?
Yeah, we got you.
And just looking at the lair from a scope level, this looks really dark and edgy. And I mean, I don't know if this is going to be taking place in New York like it's supposed to. But just looking at it, I'm like, this is going to be unworldly because Doctor Strange, and if anybody doesn't know, he loses possession of his hands. And he was a surgeon, one of the best in the world. And after he loses touch of his hands, he goes off on this kind of like means of trying to get his hands back, like getting his hands usable again. But he finds something else. He finds mysticism. And I guess this is one of the first pictures or shots of him like they're clarifying, like, look, your hands are forever gone. Like, you'll never be able to be a surgeon again. And it's going to be really good. I mean, for the most part, all these concept images are really cool. But, I mean, like you said, the first shot of him, I did not think that, like, he would kind of pull off that look. But the dude, he's got it, man. He's got the flair for it. I mean, if you just take out this, I really want to get this issue from Entertainment Magazine because this dude looks like a G. He looks so awesome, man. What are your thoughts just looking at, I guess, the first picture or image render of him?
Man, I spoke about the pictures for just a tiny bit on my channel, the pictures in general. It was like a minute-long video or something, but that picture is so dope. Like, oh my God. John Schnepp probably pissed his pants. I mean, just look at that glory,
Yeah.
I think there's an on-set picture of Chiwetel and Benedict kind of walking down the street. I don't know if we have that one too. It's pretty cool though. It's almost like a bird's eye view. Like someone was up in the apartment.
I saw that one, but I don't think I have it on me, unfortunately. But
that one's cool too.
Let me see if I can get to this other one. See, that's why I got a Mac. There we go. Drop this over here. So can you see what I see?
Yeah.
Okay, so this picture right here, I thought it was really curious because somebody brought to my attention on Twitter of the stone of the actual talisman he's using. like that it could be an Infinity Stone. And I mean, just the look and the cloak, everything is perfect. Even like they got the gray streak right here. But that stone, I was like, I never took in that as a possibility. And they could go that route with it. Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts just looking at that image?
That's an Infinity piece or gem, whatever the hell they refer to it as.
That's what somebody had suggested that it possibly is. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but that would be really cool. I was just daydreaming about because it's like they're going magic, now. Marvel's going cosmic now. Like I want to see Doctor Strange accidentally teleporter, somehow find a way to teleport accidentally, and he just bumps into Star-Lord. You know what I mean?
Oh, that is insane. They could do that.
Like he walks through a gateway and accidentally just bumps into Star-Lord. Like it's just like my palms are sweating, man.
Yeah, even this image right here, I thought this was just freaking baller. I was like, this is awesome.
By the way, what? So the people know, because I really don't know. What are his powers? Like I've never been like a huge Doctor Strange fan or anything. I always thought it was cool, but I wasn't
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest with you, man, like I'm not like a big, not like understanding of his scope of his powers. I know he's a master of
sorcery,
magic in general, sorcery.
Okay.
But he's also got a genius level intellect, and he's trained as a medical science, like he's a medical genius. So I think that based on him being a master of magic, his ability is limitless in the sense because he's considered the sorcerer supreme. So it's untapped magic. There are certain things that nobody else would even go to that he has the ability of getting into. But I'll read some of the stuff that I've read as far as his powers and abilities. Strange is is a practicing magician who draws his powers from mystical entities such as Agamotto, Centauric, Watabu, and other names that I can't even pronounce, who lend their energies for spells. Strange also wields mystical artifacts, including the Cloak of Levitation, which enables him to fly. The Eye of Agamotto, which I believe that's what that stone is, whose light is used as negative evil magic. The Book of Vishanti, which contains a knowledge of white magic, and then the Orb of Agamotto, which is used as a crystal ball. In addition, he also has abilities, like I said. Well, actually, he's actually trained in several martial arts disciplines. And Strange is skilled neurosurgeon before nerve damage impaired his hands. Dr. Strange is described as the highest magician in the cosmos, most powerful by far other than fellow humanoids. That's crazy.
Yeah. Right before we wrap up, I mean, I was just looking at some things myself. Apparently this fool can energy, in terms of powers, energy projection, manipulation, matter transformation, animation of inanimate objects, teleportation. Shit, man. What? Astral projection, dimensional travel, time travel?
Oh.
What? But anyway, holy fuck. I'm excited. I think it's going to be huge. When do you think, before we close out, when do you think we might see a first teaser?
That's a good question, man. I mean, I think that the first trailer is definitely going to show up with Civil War. I don't see why not. Because Civil War comes out around May, and I think that's the perfect time to try to release a trailer out for it. But I think that they're probably going to show something ahead of that. I'm trying to think of a good time where they could kind of show a small blip of it.
No, I think you might be right. I think Civil War or yeah, man. I think when Civil War comes out, or maybe earliest March, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Sometime around March, just to kind of keep the pacing going because, like, I mean, in March they're gonna have like Daredevil come out, and I mean that in and of itself is just huge. So it would be a good time to make like a TV spot or something there for Doctor Strange because Doctor Strange comes out in August, right, of this year.
I believe it comes out in November.
Okay.
I think so.
Oh yeah, because Suicide Squad is gonna be in August. That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm excited, and I can't wait to talk more about it as more updates come up. But I think we're about to close out. We're right at the 40-minute mark. So, any final thoughts?
Yeah, man. Shoot, I'm excited for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Like, that was one of my favorite movies. I hope and pray that they have an amazing soundtrack, classic oldies from the 70s all the way up to the 90s or the 2000s maybe. But definitely, I mean, like, I'm excited for that. I do want to take acknowledgement at this time because we've been talking about it a lot. That Star Wars has officially become the #1 domestic movie of all times and has surpassed Avatar domestically. Will it beat it worldwide? Who knows? But that's a huge ups for JJ and Disney team. That's awesome. And I guess keep it locked, y'all. Like anything that we come up as far as content, JVS, just go to youtube.com/SEL0320. We've been actually looking at this amazing anime called One Punch Man, and we've been reviewing every single episode, and it's been really awesome. Like, it's one of the best animes I think I've seen this year.
Okay. Yeah, I still gotta check that out myself. I think the only thing left that comes to mind is you gotta throw some Prince in that fucking volume.
Oh, snap.
You gotta have my boy, Star-Lord, whooping ass for some Prince, because that's just a magical time. Him or that Rocket Raccoon bastard, just like shooting, killing niggas. The Prince.
See, that's one of the reasons why I love the first Batman, 1989, because Prince did the whole soundtrack.
Right. But yeah, I think that's all I've got. If that's all you got.
I ain't got nothing, man.
Yeah, guys, we will be back again soon. So, bam, wow,
Later, y'all.
wow. Oh yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Sons of bitches. Yeah.